Welcome back to the channel. I am Casey, the Rumble Right Dad, and I've been a therapist for more than 13 years, and I have seen firsthand the decline in marriage and relationships among men. Let's take a look at some of the unsurprising reasons and statistics why men are not marrying.
Commitment has, in fact, in female parlance, come to mean up until the moment I'm no longer 100% satisfied with the person I married. And that attitude's only going to lead to more and more divorces as more and more successful women effectively set their sights higher than they reasonably should, while their youth and attractiveness wanes, leading to a growing number of them feeling like they settled, even if they didn't.
Out of 1,000 unmarried people in 1970, 82 of them were getting married each year. And now in 2022, it is down to 34 out of 1,000 or somewhere near that. So it's about a 60% decline in the amount of people getting married on average every year.
And it really can't be stressed enough that the reality of divorce and family law in our culture plays a huge part in men's growing contempt for marriage as an institution.
Women are outpacing men in college graduation, and while this may have been a boon for women's earning potential in the last 30 years, some of those white-collar opportunities might be going away due to the prevalence of AI. However, one of the biggest job growth markets within our current structure in the United States are healthcare, because of the boomer generation on their way out, as well as government jobs, email jobs, HR jobs. So all of those things on the increase means that women's earning potential has increased, and henceforth the changing cultural dynamic about these mate selection situations has gone against men.
Very telling is OkCupid's recent revelation that women on their site deemed 80% of men less than average attractiveness.
One of the major factors cited is economic instability, and I can say without question that when the job market is cut in half, which is essentially what has been done unto men since 1970, there is less economic opportunity. And then when your partner or potential partner sees you as more of a liability because their earning potential is higher than yours or even commensurate with yours, that is a problem that causes men not to be attractive to the opposite sex, and therefore they decline and possibly even give up on being able to outmatch their partners. Millennials and Gen Z have seen their parents oftentimes get divorced or maybe not even be married in the first place, and so the changing cultural arbiters of those who are exemplary of marriage and relationships have given a really sour taste in the mouths of the youngest generations. In 2023, a survey found that 32% of unmarried Americans don't want to marry. And they might say that especially in their younger life, but then, up to 90% of women who don't have children report that they regret not doing so. So maybe later in life, those views that were culturally normal about not getting married, not having kids, and support the planet and all those things might actually come home to roost, and their opinions and views, when they're empty at their bedside, at their deathbed, those views come into full bloom, and they see the error that was not having children, not having stable relationships, and not pursuing a legacy building life. We've told young men for decades that they are disposable, that they're toxic, that anything that makes them masculine is in fact bad for society. And I've seen this within my therapy practice for the last 13 years. The decline of men's self-respect, their dignity, and their well-being, not just being cast on them from society, but also internally, they are struggling. And as an addiction counselor, for a large part of that, a lot of men just turn to substances in order to try to meet those needs of just feeling better. They need a chemical hug, and so they get it through substance. As someone who's walked the road of brokenness, healing, and redemption, I can say with confidence that marriage is worth it. Now, granted, the mate selection situation out here is not on par for men. It's not equitable. It's not good for men in general. There are surveys on OkCupid that say that women ranked 80% of the men that they saw as less than average in appearance. That's just statistically not possible, because there should be about 40% in the middle of men who are average looking, not 80-20 proposition. It may have even gotten worse. And when the criticism of the sex specific characteristics only goes in one direction, when men are being criticized for everything that makes them masculine and females are not being criticized, anything a woman does could be justifiable by their tribe, that ultimately leads to poor outcomes for male mating opportunities. If we zoom out, this isn't really just about surveys. This is about the collapse of cultural institutions that used to speak to young men and tell them the reasons why marriage was helpful, necessary, and even the way that they could accomplish their created goal, which is to serve others the way that Christ served his church. If we want men to return to marriage, and I certainly do, and I think probably a lot of the young women out there do, we need to return to truth, because the biblical truth isn't about statistics or whether there's an 80-20 proposition. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. That favor doesn't come from swiping right. It comes from commitment. And that commitment can ultimately be what edifies you as a man and brings you into the iron tool that you should be, not just forged for the well-being of your wife, but also to defend your progeny and to leave a legacy on the world that is more than just whether you had brunch on any specific day. There are issues of educational differences, economic problems, as well as unfairness within the dating market and even the employment pool that have been cast on men most recently. But let's be real. There is a spiritual war that's being waged against the family, against the nuclear family, and they are attacking men with everything they have. Dear man, are we going to rise up out of the ashes of this battle and reclaim and plant our flag on what's meaningful and right and true, or are we going to surrender? It's our choice. Let's do this together. If you would please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions for a common sense therapist, please email me at rumblerightdad@gmail.com, and I can answer those questions in another session. Have a great one.